Hey guys, I got a few stones in the mail today. You can probably already tell what they are. It's actually the Shapton 220, 320, and the double thick 500. Uh, so, like most serious sharpeners, I've come to a crossroads as I've become disillusioned by the medium grit and polishing stones. They just aren't doing it for me. A lot of the work I do is repair work, like thinning, bevel setting, reprofiling, etc. Um, the Chaucera 400 is the most aggressive stone that I own. It's remarkably fast for how high it finishes, um, which we'll talk about that later. At any rate, it just isn't aggressive enough for the type of work I'm interested in doing. So I've been poking around the internet for a couple weeks and researching what stones would serve me best for this kind of work, and I found out really quickly how difficult it is to find reliable information on extra coarse stones. There seems to be a major hole in the market. I was looking into the Bester 220 and the Imanishi 220, and I believe those are about the same stone. There might be a slight difference, I'm not sure. Um, and the Shapton Pro 120, Jeff Jewell recommended that one to me. I was trying to find something to bridge the gap from my Atoma 140, which is extremely aggressive. Um, but it definitely gets the job done. It's just incredibly hard to get the scratches out of the knife after you've used it. Okay, so the first stone we have here is the Shapkin Glass 220 grit. I actually decided to get this stone because I saw Knife Sharpening Norway using it pitted up against the Bester 220 pink brick, and he decided in a later video that he liked this stone better, and I think after having used the 320 that this is going to be exactly what I need. Just the right amount of aggression and control for thinning and repair work. So they come in these really nice black boxes, and they slide from the bottom here. Stone slides out. This one's kind of unique, and I hope this is coming through on camera well. I'll put this one together with the 320 and the 500, but it's actually kind of a purple light pink color, which is kind of interesting. The surface doesn't feel terribly rough, but it definitely looks like it has the potential to cut very quickly. You can see the abrasive particles in there. Okay, so we'll move on to the 320. So same deal with this. So this is the 320. It's actually a white color that's, more like the other Shopkin Glass stones. They all have this tempered glass backing with the micron rating on the back. Just a really nice touch. I mean, these are just absolutely gorgeous stones. I didn't really think I was gonna get any in the past because I didn't like how thin they were, but after using this one, I know for a fact that it's not going to be an issue. Now, I have heard some mixed reviews on how soft or hard these are. Mine seems to be pretty hard. The one thing that I can gripe about right off the bat is the surface texture kind of loses its coarseness after you run a knife over it for a few minutes. But just a quick resurfacing, I use one of these hard Suhiro dressing stones, and it pulls that abrasive right up. Yeah, but as you can see, I just dropped some water on it and it just beads on the top. Now this stone does absorb a little bit of water, and I'm sure the 220 will as well, but these are true splash and goes in that regard. But really beautiful, stone and package. I'm really happy with it. So here is the 320 next to the 220. 220 is on top. You can see that dark gray, like purple color. I actually don't mind it. It looks kind of cool. So this is one of the stones I was more excited to open. This is actually the Shapton Glass double thick 500 grit. Instead of being 5 millimeters of stone, you get 10. And I mean, that's pretty substantial for a Shapton Glass, and I haven't sharpened on this yet, but I'm sure that it's gonna last a very long time. I have heard that the 500 is slightly softer than some of the other stones, which isn't a bad thing. I mean, these are really hard stones, as far as I can tell from a 320, but we're gonna try it out on an old hunting knife. It's a buck 120, I believe. Like, I've kind of hit this point where I really don't care for high polishing stones. I know that natural stones will have like different properties where they can take down a lot of steel and also be a high polished stone as well, which is kind of the thought process why I got the 500 here. It leaves a relatively fine scratch pattern, but it's really aggressive and removes a lot of steel. And I've heard it's much like the Chosera 400. Definitely on the softer side, compared to Shapton, but this stone is a benchmark in my setup, and I love it. I wish so badly that Naniwa would make a 220 Chosera or professional, and we'd be set. Okay. So yeah, the water sits on top. I can tell a tiny bit is absorbing into the stone, but it's not enough to where it's, not leaving any lubrication on the top of the stone. Alright, I'm excited. This looks like a cool stone. So this knife is actually it's sharp up here, but the geometry is so obtuse here at the bottom from where the previous owner had been using sharpening steel honing rod. It's caused a recurve down there, so I'm kind of doing this as a favor, and they said, whatever I can do with it is good for them. So, this is kind of going to be my little punching bag for right now. Okay, let's roll up these sleeves. Now, I'm just letting the weight of the knife do the work, and I can already see a metal swarf building up very quickly. Wow. I mean, it doesn't feel like an incredibly aggressive stone, which is, it's a very odd feeling. I mean, look at that. That's what, 15 seconds of work right there? That is just insane to me. Let me wipe this off and look at the scratch pattern it's leaving. Okay, so it's doing a really good job of getting rid of those diamond scratches. Wow. Okay. See if I can't create a burr down here. We're gonna have to grind on both sides to get to it. See if we're in frame. Yep. Try to use all the stone surface we can. Okay. Oh, and I did check these, and they're all dead flat out of the box. Okay, we've actually got a burr. Wow. I wasted so much of that Serac stone trying to grind at this knife. It wasn't even funny. Okay, so let's try to get rid of it. Wow, this is incredible. Got a burr all the way up and down. Got a little bit of movement on the stone holder, but it's actually working really well. Yeah, I can tell this burr is going to be especially stubborn on the steel. I've actually removed all the damage from here at the bottom. Wow, that's incredible. The scratch pattern is actually really mild, but it's still uber aggressive. It's not bad. Okay, we'll do some stropping strokes. See if we can't. It's the problem with stainless. Sorry for that screeching. Is that if you overproduce your burr, it's really hard to get rid of it. Because you've essentially just weakened and damaged the steel in that area. My phone battery actually died on me in the middle of that, but here's the scratch pattern from the 220 grit. Really nice and uniform. I'd be happy with that finish right there. Okay, so I've got an old Whetstone classic here. This was my first chef knife. This thing's about, how many years has it been now? 12 years? Yeah. I've already tried to thin a bit with the 320 and the diamond plate. This is actually all 320 scratches, but let's see how quick it works. Okay. Yeah, that definitely made a dent. I was actually having trouble before getting close to the edge, but I can see that bevel getting smaller. Plenty of metal on the stone. Check the flatness real quick. Yeah, still looks great. Stone's moving around too much in that. Oops, slipped a little bit. Goodness. This thing is a powerhouse. Wow. I mean, I just watched that bevel get smaller. If you have a lot of stupid friends with pocket knives, cheap pocket knives, this is a great stone for that. Kind of a point I wanted to talk about is, you know, a lot of lower grit stones are softer so they can release abrasive. They're really friable. But what you really need is a hard coarse stone to get work done. And quite frankly, diamonds are just too aggressive for that. So this is a perfect balance of hardness and aggression. It's amazing. Well, I'm really excited to get to this 500, but I'm gonna do these in order so we can refine this scratch pattern on the buck. Okay, so let's take one last look at the 220 scratches. Not bad. Wow, this stone is like just as fast, but you know, it's just a little bit finer. Okay. See our progress starting to brighten up. Get a better angle at this. Oh, that's a terrible noise, I'm sorry. Man, they're already gone. That is something else. What in the world? However you do it, Shapton, bravo. Now come on. That is just nuts. Look at all that swarf. Would you just look at it? Jeez. Oh, man. Oh, I was wondering what that was. You can see, even on this crappy stainless, there's the burr. That is incredible. Very nice. Okay, so this is where we're at. Starting to brighten up. Okay. I'm really excited about this 500. Okay. As you can see, the 500 is no slouch either. I mean, it's cutting as fast as the other two stones. That is wild. Man. Here's where we're at. Need a little bit more up there in that belly and tip on this side, but otherwise it's gotten rid of the 320. The scratch pattern is actually very similar to the 320. Really comfortable stone to sharpen on. Wow. And we're there. Wow. Okay, so here's our final product. Looks gorgeous. I know this knife is kind of a piece of crap, but you know, when life gives you lemons. But this was a perfect solution to the problem I've been having, and I think a lot of people out there that are looking for good coarse stones should really consider the 220. If you want to use the diamond plate, that type progression to the 320 is perfect. You can get the scratches from the diamond plate out on the 320, but if you want to just use a stone, the 220 is a great option. I like having it. I think I'll be retiring the diamond plate for as long as I possibly can and try not to take on as many repair jobs. But I hope you guys enjoyed it, and leave me a comment in the comments section if you've got any requests and any questions. I'll be happy to answer them. Alright, have a good night.